All right, guys, welcome back to the Independent Investor Channel with the recent run-up in Tesla stock. It's got everybody in the investing arena talking about it. I do own a small piece of Tesla, but in this video, I'm going to chronicle my aggressive growth portfolio, with which Tesla is a piece of. I'm up 285% in the name. The question is, should I sell the stock here or should I hold it long? I think after this portfolio review, you're really going to understand a lot fundamentally as to why I invest this way in these growth companies going forward. So I'm going to drop you into the account now and we're going to conduct the review. All right, guys, so this will be our periodic review of the aggressive growth portfolio in M1 Finance. The title of this video is centered around Tesla. Should I sell the shares? The answer is no. So for you guys that are interested in what I'm going to do, up 282% right now in Tesla, I set myself up in this account to be completely passive. And I think a big takeaway for you guys is to understand how this account is centered around owning some higher growth names passively. I think a lot of investors want to have access to these, but they don't know how much exposure they should actually have. And this allows me some incredible opportunity to expose myself in these names, these 12 aggressive names, without putting a lot of capital to risk. So the account now is just over $7,750. We've had net gains in the portfolio of $2,603. When I roll these videos out, I don't typically talk about dividends. That's not the strategic goal here. The dividends here, an anemic 54 cents has been rendered since this account was started back December of last year. So haven't had the account that long. It's performed incredibly well. A lot of new investors may look at this and say, well, Ryan, I don't understand why you just don't exclusively invest this way with your larger accounts. Keep in mind that you're looking at this portfolio at an appreciated value. And when I was doing the videos down here at the March lows, during the depths of the pandemic and the effects over the stock market here, I was doing videos here. This account was down in the low 4,000s. So just looking at it from this perspective and trying to make your decisions based on what I'm declaring to you now at the time of this video, these holdings are going to fluctuate in value. And I think to have realistic expectations about the level of risk that you're taking on, the amount of exposure to these names that you're putting to work, but understanding that with the power of M1 Finance being able to enter into partial shares of certain higher risk equities, Tesla being one of those, that you can gain that exposure without a whole lot of capital up front. And I think a lot of new investors out there can really benefit from that perspective that I have in bringing this to the subscriber base. And these periodic reviews are going to continue to roll out through the channel. I'm going to give a little bit more frequent updates to the self-directed investor group that we've just newly established. So those folks will benefit from those more periodic reviews, and you can really get an insight to how the portfolio is performing over time. So we'll scroll down like usual. There's been no changes since the last portfolio review. You guys know that I invest in these 12 names, and I do so passively. And you can see here, I'll start at the bottom with the only negative holding. It was Booking Holdings, and that's really just directly related to what's going on right now. Booking Holdings has actually come off of its recent lows, so it's actually come back fairly aggressively. I think I was down at one point, maybe close to 50% in Booking Holdings, but this is just an awesome way to own a company that's share price right now is probably trading around a couple thousand. I really don't pay too much attention to this account, nor do I need to, because of the strategic goal in setting it up passively for myself. It's just not necessary to monitor these or try to render profits off of them I invested in each of these 12 companies because I believe in the prospects longer term, and I believe in seeking a little bit higher access to growth, but I do it with scale. This $8,000 portfolio is relatively, on a percentage basis, a relatively smaller portion of the total overall portfolio, and I think it's appropriate. It's the amount of risk that I want. So the real takeaway from these is the fundamental lessons, not necessarily to look at each of these 12 holdings in this account and say, okay, well, Ryan's invested in them, well, I need to go out and buy 2 or 3 of those. No, you're missing the point. The point of this is really just to understand the function within M1 Finance, allowing me to come in and grab partial shares of Amazon, and even through partial share ownership, we're up $510. So for a new investor looking at this, that doesn't have a lot of spending capital to start with, you guys should be the most excited to look at these videos and be like, wow, you know, I can invest in these companies where before it may have seemed like they were unattainable or just something that only the rich could participate in. M1 Finance has done a great job in creating access for a lot more investors, and I think those investors that need this information the most are probably those investors that don't have a lot of starting capital. So M1 Finance has made the stock market that much more accessible for you. So down at the bottom here with Tesla here up 282%. Just an incredible run this has been on at $847. And this has been on a partial share. I think this is about 0.84, something like that. I can't remember, but it's not even a whole share. But look how incredible this run has been. And then right below it, I believe one of those incredible companies that is just still marching on all cylinders here, got great chip exposure in all the right places. NVIDIA has just been on fire, up 75%, and for a relatively small investment here at 707, total holdings now, I think this original position was a few $100s, right? 400 to be exact. We've gone up over $300 in this, up 75%. Next, Google and Facebook. Really, these two are just nice staples in this to kind of solidify at least a little bit of value in this to try to, you know, offset some of the risk that I believe I'm taking specifically in Netflix and Uber, which IPO'd, I think, into last year. And then some of the hyper growth here with CRM Salesforce, and then some of the value that I've added in here with Adobe Systems as well. Alibaba has just done quite well, but if you just kind of glance over these percentages, we've done quite well. Just reviewing these 12 holdings, up 13%, and PayPal has also just silently been on fire. So just no complaints on my end. Again, I hope you guys appreciate and really look below the surface when I roll these videos out. Please understand that I roll these videos out to demonstrate number one, a real account. These are real dollars, and these are real renderings. These are real results that are coming out. And I think it carries more weight when I'm able to demonstrate these opportunities through M1 Finance, because for those beginning investors that may have $500 of starting capital and that's all they've got, but they want to buy a few of these aggressive growth names, the opportunity is made possible through M1 Finance with their partial share opportunity. So guys, with that, we'll conclude the video, kick you back to YouTube. Thank you so much. All right, guys, so we've come out of the M1 Finance aggressive portfolio review for you guys. Obviously, I'm not selling Tesla share here. I own about 0.84 shares, I guess, but I bought it long just a couple months ago in this account with the strategic opportunity of owning the shares long over time. It's super important to understand the fundamentals of why I enter into these growth companies in the manner that I do using M1 Finance. Guys, if you enjoy the message coming through, you want to make sure and hit the subscribe button for me, leave your comments at the bottom of the video, and share the message with anybody out there that may be interested in M1 Finance. These are great tutorials to show you what is offered offered on the platform. You can enter into some of these higher than average stock price companies with very little starting money, and I think this is an opportunity that new investors need to pay attention to. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the message, and good luck in your investment future.